What are modern witches and what do they do exactly? Are you born as a witch or can you become a witch or an earth magician as well? What are the requirements and what does the training look like? EarthCraft, the Western path of nature mysticism and earth magic. How do I become a modern witch? Let's first define what we exactly understand by the term witch or earth magician in order to make it clear that we are assuming the same thing. After that, we will explain to you how the earth magic training is designed. Therefore, you can be very excited about gaining a comprehensive understanding of this subject, as well as getting to know the wonderful possibilities that training in earth magic and witchcraft can provide you. First, let's clarify what exactly a witch is. What is a witch? Many people are interested in magic and some would like to learn it. Often they think it means they have to become a witch. However, there are some differences between a natural magic path and a ceremonial magic path, and it is helpful to know them in order to choose and follow one's own path. Since there are different ways of looking at both magic and witchcraft, it is good to first know what exactly you mean by it. What do you want it to do, and what you hope to get out of it? Do you refer to a witch as someone who practices magic? Or do you mean someone who practices earth magic or nature magic? And what is the difference? In your opinion, does a witch always have to be a woman? All these possibilities are quite conceivable and okay. It is, as mentioned before, first of all about what you want to learn and what it is for you. It's best to look at what we mean by magic before we get into these different areas. We define magic as the science and art of willingly causing such changes in consciousness that are capable of shaping reality in a desired way. In the Brotherhood of the Eternal Light and in the Western mystery tradition, we distinguish the different domains of magic as follows. By earthcraft, we understand the art of witchcraft and earth magic. This refers to the establishment of an intense, reciprocal relationship with a particular piece of land. Connected to this is also herbal and plant magic, as well as a corresponding fund of one's own spells. In addition, the meeting in a coven and the celebration of the festivals of the yearly cycle is part of witchcraft. Wicca is not a magical path at all, but basically a religion with magical elements. Every religion contains magical aspects, and every religion has an area where these magical elements are more visible than in a classical worship service. In Judaism, for example, this is the case in Kabbalah. In Christianity, it is in the liberal Catholic Church. And in Islam, it is in Sufism. In Wicca, magical elements are also on the surface, and even more so than may appear in other religions. If you want to learn and practice magic, and you are looking for it in Wicca, then you are confusing magic with religion. Wicca, like other religions, contains magical elements, but it is no more or less a true and complete magical path than other religions. Of course, you can be a Wiccan follower and practice magic, but you can also do that as a follower of other religions. If you want to learn and practice magic, you can choose ceremonial magic or earth magic or both. Witches and magicians existed and still exist in every religion. The question of which religion you want to belong to or already belong to can therefore be disregarded for further consideration. In our ceremonial magic training, as well as in earth magic, all people are welcome regardless of their religion, as long as it does not contain any unethical elements and there is no conflict with the magical path. Our members and participants include Jews, Christians, Muslims, Buddhists, non-religious, as well as followers of Wicca and neo-paganism. Ceremonial magic is a path of spiritual ascension. You can learn more about it in our video on the Kabbalistic path to initiation and adeptship on the Tree of Life, and in our video on the spiritual path. For more information about ceremonial magic, as well as Wicca and Earth Magic, see our special video about it. You can find the links in the video description. If you want to learn more about ceremonial magic, let us know in the comments so we can explain it in detail in an upcoming video. Some people may wonder why we make this clear distinction between ceremonial magic, earth magic, and Wicca. Without understanding these distinctions, we would be living in a fantasy world and unable to achieve any real results. If we want to develop spiritually, it is about self-awareness, soul and personality development, and connecting with higher forces, as well as with the elements in their spiritualized form. If we want to do earth magic, it is not so much about that, but rather about connecting with nature and the forces of nature, as well as with the elements in their earthly form. Someone may object that God is in everything, and so are the elements, but there is a difference between sitting in front of a book and studying the elements reflected in the names of God, meditating and finding the elements within oneself, and experiencing the elements in nature as material manifestations. All these have their own value without being exactly the same. Now suppose you are particularly interested in earth magic or nature magic. How does true earth magic training work? EarthCraft tradition training involves learning 3 basic topics. The first is about the seasonal festivals. The second is about herbs and plant magic. The third deals with actively building and maintaining a connection with the land and training the inner senses to be able to perceive the land and its needs and eventually fulfill those needs. For example, it may be necessary to free a young tree from a burden, such as garbage, or from a fallen tree, so that it can grow freely again. The third point also includes 7 quests and some smaller tasks to be accomplished between the events in which earth magic is learned. Building on these 3 points, another aspect is added, namely the spell magic, that is, the charms and spells. In this last aspect, topics such as traditional spells and potions and many other classical topics of the witchcraft tradition are also taught. What is the course schedule of the training? After a successful trial period or taster period, the student is accepted into the coven. Only then can the full apprenticeship be taught, as many things are only taught after acceptance into the coven. There are a total of 8 festivals and teachings, each of which takes place over a long weekend or in a different format. During the course of these meetings, you will write your own book. Don't worry, you don't have to be or become a writer. It is essentially about your notes on your experiences and insights to the land and about plants. You will also record your spells in your book. Finally, the consecration will take place in the craft or earthcraft, that is the art of witchcraft. And finally, you will be a fully trained witch, and you can then start your own coven. As you can see, no one is born as a witch or an earth magician, although it is possible that someone is born into a family tradition. So it is open to you to learn the tools of earthcraft in the Brotherhood of the Eternal Light, and become a true witch or earth magician. What do you call yourself when you walk this path? During the training, you can call yourself a student of witchcraft, as well as a student of earthcraft. And after completing the training, you can call yourself a witch or an earth magician. After some time, you can become an elder, or the elder in the coven. If our witch training appeals to you, we would be happy to welcome you at our next gathering and get to know you personally. Use the link in the description to sign up. But what exactly do you need to participate? What kind of clothing do witches or earth magicians wear during their rituals and festivals? The ritual clothing for earth magic in the EarthCraft tradition. We have chosen to wear clothes made of natural materials and natural colors for aesthetic, magical, and traditional reasons. We prefer especially clothes of the common people in medieval style. The latter is not a must for earth magic work, but an appropriate atmosphere is always important in the ritual, and medieval clothing or garb simply helps to create such an atmosphere. Many of these garments are available in different colors. Choose the colors that suit you. Try not to wear everything in the same color. So if the cloak is green, then the shirt or dress may be natural linen and the trousers or bag dark red, just as you like it. Choose natural or subtle shades such as linen, beige, green, brown, blue, or dark red. By the way, yellow was the color of prostitutes in some cities in the Middle Ages, bright red or striking striped clothes in others, like on this painting. Colors that get dirty easily are not recommended, and black clothing is also not appropriate. Earth magicians and witches were usually poor, and black color did not exist in the Middle Ages. Black clothes could only be made by dyeing several dark colors on top of each other, and that was expensive. Too expensive for poor witches, thus black clothing does not fit the earth magic tradition. Another also expensive but less common way to make a deep black garment is to use the rare wool of an entirely black sheep. So black is the clothing color of the rich, not the old witchcraft tradition. You can also see that in this painting. Whereas you can make an exception for a single garment that combines black and other colors if you like it very much. Purple was the color of kings and is also omitted, as well as costly embroidered, especially gold embroidered robes. For aesthetic reasons, and because it doesn't fit into the setting, overly modern clothing is to be avoided at all costs. Clothes made from neon colors, clothes with modern prints or advertising prints, jeans, sneakers, etc. Look for natural materials such as wood, linen, or cotton. Always check the description yourself before buying, even in our recommendations, in case a manufacturer has changed the product's materials. You don't always have to buy a complete set of matching medieval clothing right away. This is ultimately a question of how serious you are about earth magic and the matching atmosphere. Many participants will probably have an affinity for the Middle Ages anyway, and may already own suitable clothing. Others may come from the ecological scene and own many suitable clothing items made of natural fabrics in natural colors. Such clothing is quite suitable for a start, although it already improves the atmosphere if you complement it with one or two pieces in medieval style. For women, this can be a simple linen dress. For men, a linen shirt in the appropriate style. Other clothing can also be worn inconspicuously underneath. A cloak, especially made of thick wool, is always recommended, especially when it gets colder outside. The earth magic rituals take place outside, depending on the weather, at almost all times of the year. Many participants underestimate at first how cold it can get at night, even with a ritual fire, so make sure you have enough warm clothing or enough layers underneath. One should also be able to move freely in the clothing. In some rites, there are also dancing or jumping. Clothing and footwear should be suitable for this. Sturdy, waterproof footwear is recommended for the ritual. Even on dry days, the grass can be wet, and the shoes might soak through. Clothing should also be able to withstand a light drizzle. In almost every workshop we spend time outdoors in nature, so you will need footwear that you can walk well in, such as hiking boots. Rubber soles are okay for the shoes, even if it's not a natural material, but if you want, you can also get medieval footwear with leather soles. On our website, you will find a selection of possible clothing. You can find the link in the description. We hope we could bring you closer to witchcraft and earth magic. If you have any questions about our content or training, please post them in the comments. In any case, like the video if you enjoyed it, and if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel and activate the bell to regularly watch videos on spiritual topics related to magic and earth magic, Kabbalah, astrology, and much more. If you are seriously interested in training in witchcraft and earth magic, or if you just want to have a look, use the link in the video description to join. In any case, we look forward to catching up with you at one of our next videos. Thanks for watching, and see you soon!